everyone, it's Diane Mireles with Visions Traditions Realty with our Tuesday tidbits. Woohoo! Aren't you excited? Um, it's such a beautiful day, and I hope you guys all had a fabulous Mother's Day. I did. It was a Mother's Day that will be in my mind forever and ever. My son and my new daughter-in-law came to visit, and we went to the Astros game and then went out to dinner 2 days in a row. It was really fabulous. Hey, Walter. Hi, how are you? And anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it just as much as I did. And thought today, let's get moving with some information. I was doing some research over the weekend on Billionaires, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. But to start with, I want to share a story with you. Stephanie Childress, who is an agent here with us at Visions and Traditions, she had a situation. She was in Cleveland, Texas, showing property, actually showing 14 acres of property. And as they were driving down the road, there was a dog following them. And when they stopped, the dog came up to them and jumped in her truck. And it did have a collar, so they did call the owner, and the owner did come to pick up the dog. However, between the time of the owner picking up the dog and just all of this going on, Stephanie was with her client and was actually out looking at this 14 acres, and the dog was going with them. The dog found some sort of attachment to Stephanie. And so about that time, finally, as they're finishing up, Stephanie sees the owner takes the dog and puts the dog in the truck. Stephanie and her client get in her truck and they start going the other direction. The dog jumped out of the window of his owner's truck and started chasing Stephanie's truck down. So she had to stop and pick up the dog and take the dog back to the owner and be sure that the dog was secured. We love animals here. We really and truly do. So that dog must have really taken an attachment to her, but that's part of our job, rescuing animals and returning them to owners and giving them a little bit of love in between. So that's kind of one of the, that's a little bit of a nice, warm, fuzzy story, I think. All right, so today, sorry about that. Today, we're actually going to talk a little bit about billionaires. And next week, what I'd like to do is follow up on their lifestyles. So this week, just as a tidbit, there are 540 billionaires in the United States. Total worth is 2.399 trillion, with a T, trillion, 2.399 trillion. Now, I broke it down, and to give you the main ones, hey Marcia, how are you? On some of the main ones, it would be California, of course, with 124, and supposedly most of them are located in the San Francisco area. Go figure, that's the hot area. And then there's 44 in Florida. Unfortunately, Hawaii has 1 billionaire. Come on, guys. Hawaii's a beautiful place. Louisiana, I was surprised, only has 1 billionaire. Massachusetts has 10. Michigan actually has 11. New York has 93, which I kind of expected that they would have a bunch. And Texas has 48. Also wanted to remind you who the youngest billionaire is, and that's Kylie Jenner. She's at 21 years old, became the youngest billionaire in the United States. Okay, so with that little bit of statistics, we're going to move on to talking about some of the world's billionaires. I just find this really interesting, and especially next week when we check into their lifestyles. Hey, Vicki! Vicki's actually at her desk watching, so hi, Vicki! Okay, Jeff Bezos and his family. He's an interesting guy. He is worth I guess it's $230 billion, and he is going to, and actually brings in about $10 billion in net profit. He is the Amazon guru, in case you didn't know who he was. Now, in April, he was supposed to get a divorce. His wife is getting 4% of his billions. I'd like to know where she's gonna rank in, the who's who's, because that's a chunk of change. Okay, let's see. And then there's, oh look, we printed this out and got a picture of David Holland here. He's not a billionaire in Brunswick, Texas, not yet, give him time. Okay, number 2 billionaire in the world is Bill Gates. Of course, I mean, he's coming up somewhere. Now, unfortunately, he only owns about 1% of the shares in Microsoft now. He gave it all away. But he still remains a board member, and he does do a lot of philanthropy work. Number 3 in the United States is going to be in the world is Warren Buffett. Go figure. Still lives in Omaha and owns companies like Geico. He's in the battery maker business, Duracell, and even owns the chain Dairy Queen. So if you want some ice cream, check out Warren Buffett. He's the one that's got it. Now, what's really cool about Warren Buffett is in 2018, he donated $3.4 billion to the foundation of Bill and Melinda Gates, to their charity foundation. So that was pretty nice of him. Now, there's number 4, Bernard Arnault and his family. He comes in at about $76 billion in worth. His company is Louis Vuitton and Sephora. He's got other ones, but the ones that we would recognize are the Louis Vuitton and Sephora companies. So he's doing pretty good at $76 billion. And then we have Carlos Elu, Croslim Elu, I think it is. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. He's actually Mexico's richest man. He comes in at $64 billion. He's kind of an interesting character. He's into real estate, into mining and into real estate. So that's where a lot of his money comes from. His son-in-law is also involved. His son-in-law designed one of the museums in Mexico City. I told you 64 billion, yeah. Okay, Larry Ellison. He is the co-founder of the software firm Oracle. Now, this firm or this software is a customer relationship management software, and this was in 1977. And it's kind of interesting because that was 1977, and that's all you hear nowadays. I mean, there are tons of companies that are selling these CRMs, and so he was ahead of the game, and I guess that's why he did so good. He comes in with $62.5 billion. Next on the list, number 8, I guess you'll know this one, Mark Zuckerberg. He unfortunately faced a lot of criticism for fake news and abuse on Facebook, and he did have to testify in Congress, but he is worth $62.3 billion. Then number 9 is Michael Bloomberg. And I think what you'll find here quite interesting is that he intends to spend $500 million to defeat Donald Trump in the 2020 election. $500 million to defeat Donald Trump. Do you think he's really going to spend it, or do you think he's just putting that number out there as an intimidation factor? I don't know. He's got the money. He comes in at $55.5 billion, so I guess we'll see. Okay, Larry Page is number 10. Now, he is helm of the Alphabet Company, which is the parent company to Google. So he co-founded Google in 1998, and he is actually worth $50.8 billion. Charles Kuck, he's kind of interesting. I like this guy because he actually is America's second largest private company by revenue. So that's pretty cool that his company is all private. Now he did get into oil and gasoline, and so that always helps, especially if you get into it at the right time. And it looks like he got into it around 1967. So that would have been the right time for sure. Now he comes in at a $50.5 billion. Now here's one, I'm going to have a hard time with this name, Mukesh Ambani. He, oil and gas giant, and revenues about $90 billion. Now, what's interesting about this gentleman, I kind of like him. I like him just because of what he did here. He's involved in the telecom market, and he actually signed on 300 million customers by offering free domestic calls dirt cheap in India. So he would be a little stinker, I guess, to do business with. But, sometimes you got to have somebody that comes in and stirs the market up to make if somebody's got if they've got the whole thing and you need to shake it up a little bit, break it up so people can make it affordable, I think that's pretty cool. He comes in at $50 billion. Hey Terry, how are you? And then number 4 is Sergey Brin. Now Sergey also worked as the president of the giant Alphabet, which is the parent firm of Google. He actually co-founded the search engine Google. So, I guess with Google, I didn't realize with all of this how much is actually involved in Google. So that's another thing that's pretty interesting. He comes in at $49.8 billion. Okay, number 15 is Francois Betancourt Myers and family. Now, this family comes in at $49.3 billion in worth. Francois is the richest woman in the world. Now, I gotta tell you, I gotta give the woman a big pat on the back because she is donating $220 million for the rebuild of Notre Dame. And that is just, after the fire, it's just amazing. It's $226 billion. Okay, all right, the next 3 are Waltons, all right? So Jim Walton we know, and Rob Walton we know. Jim is worth $44.6 billion, Rob is worth $44.3, and then the sister is worth $44.4. Now, Jim and Rob pretty much stayed in the Walmart business, and then the sister kind of ventured out on her own and got into art, curating art, so did something a little bit different. Rob Walton actually stepped up and took over as chairman of the board when his father died. All right, Steve Ballmer. He was the high wattage former CEO for Microsoft. And when he left Microsoft, he actually got into sports and bought the Los Angeles Clippers. Got them for a mere $2 billion. Cheap, huh? Good investment. Now the next gentleman, number 20 on the list, I'm not real good at this name. His first name is Ma, but they call him Pony Ma, so we're gonna leave it at that. His last name is Watung or Wating, I'm not sure, and I hate to really mash up somebody's name. So we'll leave it at the Pony Ma. This gentleman is, I love this guy too. This is really cool. He's got a lot of holdings, a lot of internet holdings, but his most popular thing, or his company's most popular thing, is a messaging app called WeChat, and it has more than 1 billion users. This gentleman is worth $38.8 billion. So I'm kind of excited. Next week, we're going to go through, and these names that I've given you, we're going to check them out. Let's see what kind of properties they live in or own or something. Let's see what kind of inside skinny we can get on them. Anyhow, hey guys, I hope you all have a great day. Have a great week. Enjoy the sunshine. We had so much rain over the past weekend, and I really do look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. A shout out to my favorite caterer, Cultivate, and they are a local caterer, so if anybody's in need of ordering something, give them a call. And then a shout out to my jewelry designer, Vicki Rayleigh, who is actually an agent here with us at Visions and Traditions. Isn't she amazing? Look at this thing up close. It's just amazing. I love this thing. Then the other thing I want to say is, if you are in the need for any kind of real estate services to buy or sell or lease, give us a call. You can log on to our website, register on our website, but give us a call. We're here to service you. We're all about you, and we want to make it a really great experience for you. So I look forward to hearing more from you, and see you again next Tuesday.